Hi Sean, lovely to meet up with you and spend some time working on your game. Just a quick recap, as promised, of the key points that we covered. First port of call was controlling the path of the golf club. We discussed that the path's a 3D affair and the angle of attack was having a severe effect on it. And I've just put a document down here on the bottom right which I'll expand towards the end of your lesson so that you've got a copy of sort of a baseline, so things that you can use as a reference point. We discussed that because of the grip, the shoulders would be more level than the average player, therefore the spine would tilt less away from the target, and therefore the tendency would be for the angle of attack to be a little bit steeper than most, all things being equal. So with that in mind, the last thing we can afford to do is have a ball position that is too far back. So in this case we've got a ball position that's too far back, producing too much of a descent, which is producing too much of an outward hit on the golf ball. So the first port of call was to position the ball less back in the stance, shallowing out the angle of attack, also shifting the plane line or the swing direction into a more inline condition, producing a path that was less severe, and that straight away started to tighten up the shot cone somewhat. Then we started to look at what was happening in the through swing. I mean, in the through swing we had a lot of rotation and a lot of release of the club, and really that was to make up for how far right everything was going, the swing direction, the path, etc. The problem with that is it can become very, very chaotic. So we had a big opening up of the body and a big releasing of the hands on the way through. With the ball position further forward, we still had that same sort of tendency. We still wanted to do that. A little bit better extension on the way through there, but still quite an open position through the ball. So what we then did was we did a little drill here. The ball's crept a little bit back in the stance at this stage, but we've done the drill where we've widened the stance, we've dropped the right foot back, and we've flared the right foot out. And the idea now is to control initially the rate at which the body can open up. So you see now as we come through, we've started to reduce the amount of hip clearance that we've got. The shoulders aren't quite as open. The tilts on the eyes are slightly different as well. This is very early in the drill. You can see there the eyes are opened up much more. So just ways of policing things, if you will, and keeping your check on things when videoing your swing yourself. So that was the first port of call. You can see also that the overtaking rate on the golf club has started to reduce a little bit. Not as much cocking of the wrists or releasing of the club on the way through. And then we took the drill up a level and we said that we really want to control the rate at which that club face was closing down and the body was opening up. So here we're trying to feel like both the arms are like steel rods and the club is pointing out in front of us. You can see that's much better here on the way through than where we were at the start. So the overtaking rate of the club and the hands is improved. The line of the eyes is much better because of a much slower opening up and rotation of that body. So we don't need to make up for a swing direction and a path that's excessively out to the right now. Now when you practice this, I'm just going to come in here in a second and put you where I would like you to be ideally when you practice this, and that would be to start with both arms at chest height and the club on the right arm in line with one another. Now that's a feel, and it's really the reason for that is the exact opposite of what you were getting at the start of your session. So if you compare the top left footage, get rid of all the lines, and the bottom right, if you will, or the centre footage, completely different. A little bit more hip slide, certainly less releasing of the hands, and a much better body action, much more extension of the spine. You can see here that we're tilted back a little bit rather than flexing forward a little bit more during the through swing. And the baseline numbers that we want to try and achieve are there for you. I'll leave that up for a second or two so that you can have a little read of it. It's all based around a HSP, horizontal swing plane, so that's the swing direction of 0. I'm just showing you that we want the club to be coming with a slightly downward angle of attack which produces a slightly outward path. And if we had, we've got 3.2 and 1.2 here, but if we have a path of 4, we want a face angle of 2, and that will produce a nice little push draw every single time for you. So just a little bit of info there from Trackman and FlyScope to digest and get your head around, and use that as a baseline for all of your shots, and use the left shoulder as your 0 point and reference point for ball position, and move the thing around depending on what sort of curvature you want to try and create. Good luck with it, and I look forward to working with you again. Well done.